Me here, and indeed it's a privilege for me to be here with young people, brilliant and talented people from all over the world. And I think all of you are more knowledgeable. You are very accomplished people, so far as the technology is concerned, its usage is concerned. But let me today share few things basically. As this pandemic, we learned, in fact, pandemic taught us few things. And perhaps as the title has been given, looking back to look ahead. I think it's very important that we must learn from this history, very recent history, and still we are going through that, this thing, where technology had played a very important role. Friends, in 2020, in the beginning of 2020, I was one of those officers, 6-7 officers, who were co-opted basically in the core team of management of COVID pandemic. As we all know that after Spanish flu, after 100 years, we are facing this kind of pandemic and on this scale. I mean, in between, I think we have faced some localized many epidemic, but this kind of scale, and more importantly, in January 2020, the whole scientific community, administrator, governments, everybody was unaware of its origin, symptoms, basically screening, identification, treatment, everything. It's just totally unknown kind of thing. And kindly keep in mind that when I'm talking about India, imagine the scale. 1.4 billion people is spread in 4,500 cities and towns, 650,000 villages, and 1.8 million habitations. So kindly appreciate the scale actually. And I have no hesitation in admitting that in comparison to developed world, we don't have that kind of secondary and tertiary healthcare system. Still there is a lot to be done. But you have seen that in last 8 years, government headed by Honorable Prime Minister Mr. Modi, and he has ensured that I think we should learn to work with speed and scale. We must work with speed and scale. That is the key, and when this pandemic came, I think this motto, this mantra, I think it helped us. As you know that it has a certain pattern. Now we can say that virus came to certain place and they started traveling throughout the country. And a country like ours, and many of you have experienced, including developed world, that is starting from mass to testing protocol, to testing kits, to RNA extractor, VTM, RT-PCR test, or antigen, antibody test. Nothing, on that scale it was not available. And each and every government in the world was taken off guard, Every government came under stress. So what is the learning actually? To my mind is, the learning is the kind of preparation, the readiness which we need. And we have to understand the goal. Of this readiness, we have to understand the goal. In my view, there are only two goals. Number one, for the present, whenever this kind of pandemic or this kind of situation arises, the immediate goal is to save lives and livelihood. This is the key actually. And second goal is how to avoid disruptions so that you can save your future, means economy in overall. So I think when we started handling this thing, I think within no time we came to this conclusion that we have to work at a speed and scale, and B, we have to save lives and livelihood, and C, most importantly is that minimum disruption so we save our economy for the future. Well, in this kind of scenario with this population and so many unknown things, I think technology came in big, handy. And you have learned that India was able to develop the technology for testing, for tracking, for isolation, whether it's a hospitalization or either vaccination, and the kind of data collection system was developed, whether it's a Arogya Setu, or even testing portal, or even vaccination portal, or overall COVID management portal. whether it's a hospitalization, it's a bed, it's a I think every data became available. Every data became, and thus we were able to basically visualize that this virus is traveling to which state, which district, which village, which town. And when all data are coming, I think you know better than me, your data analytics, your use of artificial intelligence, we were able to prepare at that particular place whether you need laboratory, whether you need manpower for testing, you need doctors and paramedics, you need basically when it comes to vaccination, I think that Similarly, when people were when vaccine was ready, day one you can't have vaccine for everybody. So I think it helped in prioritization. This database, this analytics help in prioritization, and especially the people who are having comorbidity or old age or those kind of So I think this help us. This technology help us, and these three portal. If you have some time, go to COVID-19 testing portal, COVID vaccination database, that portal, and third is COVID-19 overall management portal. Yes, in the beginning, because we were all learning. So there were situations where all the databases are not talking to each other. Suppose testing is happening, but vaccination, we don't know exactly, they were not talking. Or some stage where basically, let's say COVID-19 portal is there, but it's not talking about that when they have to be given booster. What is the basically reinfection? So all these things were challenges were there, but in due course of time, I think we could sort it out, this thing. So my suggestion is that we can learn a lot, When India was in position to develop its vaccine, I think you all know that I think more than 70 countries we were able to provide vaccine because we believe in that philosophy, what Prime Minister calls Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The whole world is one family. Yes, we have to save the lives of our people, but simultaneously others also. To whatever extent we can help. So, friends, when it comes to using digital technology, I think the first and foremost thing is that in your country you have to have the database of each and every individual. And in case of India, Aadhaar, because it has been used since last 5, 6, 7 years in service delivery, in many delivery of services, it helped us a lot, basically. So we have the database of each and every individual, age profile, let's say comorbidities, let's say location, and all those kind of. So when these portals were planned and when these apps were planned, I think it helped a lot. Take for example that on your Arogya Setu, you just click and you can find out nearest laboratory where it is at. Where is the nearest hospital? Beds are available or not? Oxygen is available or not? So I think those things we could do that. Second part, when we came vaccination, same thing. Each and every individual just having your COVID app, you are able to you can get your appointment, you can get your dates, you can decide about your vaccine, you can get your booster. I think that is helping, and it is helping in speed, in scale, and And lastly, before I close, logistic. Imagine the whole country for 2 months, there is a kind of lockdown. Or let's say last year in April and May when Delta, this phase was going on. Just imagine that every town and city, we have to ensure that there is a kit. Kit is available for everybody. It is important that sample is collected, tested, and report is uploaded. Report not only comes to you, but the report has to go to district authorities and medical, so they can plan, that when and where somebody has to be isolated or hospitalized or, that kind of thing. So I think these kind of, it has been done. The only suggestion which I leave, I think we have to continue investing in this sector. If you leave midway, I hope and pray that next epidemic never comes. But I think every expert is saying that this epidemic took 100 years to come. The next one, we are not very sure. I don't want to go into genome sequencing and all those kind of detail, because of paucity of time. But it means we have to learn with speed and scale. When it comes to genome sequencing, when you have to collect this data, we have to use, it means time is the essence. And to save that time, to ensure that timely action is taken, I think the digital technology, this technology is going to be, I think, saving grace. Friends, I stop here. Thank you very much for having me here, and I wish you all very best. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you very much.